Is the voice in your head nice to you, or does it bully you around? Does it tell you, you're not good at English, they won't understand you, you're making mistakes all the time, why are all your friends better at speaking than you are? None of your coworkers know what you're saying. Your boss thinks you're stupid. These are all limiting beliefs. These are stories and identities that your mind is telling you based on previous experiences, negative reference points, things that you have made up and interpreted in a negative way, and now they impact your ability to speak and your identity in English. If this sounds like you, in this video, I'm going to dive deeper into why this is happening and what you can do to change the thought process in your head. Your limiting beliefs are holding you back from the person you could be in English. Crafting your English identity is something I really want to dive deep into on this channel. I haven't heard many people talk about it, but I think it's so important because so many of my clients, they feel like they have different personalities in different languages. They don't have the confidence to express themselves in English as they do in their native language, which this makes sense, of course. However, oftentimes it's limiting beliefs and negative experiences of the past from school or other people that hold you back from speaking in the way that you could and being the person you could be in English. Now, as with most topics on this channel, this is not limited to language learning. This is a human problem that I struggle with a lot as well. I have so many limiting beliefs in my head. My negative self-talk is awful. I'm working on it, but it's awful. It's something that I constantly struggle with and overcome, and I've learned a lot about over the years because it's so important to understand and be aware of what we're telling ourselves because it shapes who we are. Our identities are shaped by what we tell ourselves over and over and over and over again. Many of these thoughts are not facts. They're just stories that we've told ourselves because we're interpreting previous experiences in certain ways that may not even be true. So some examples of limiting beliefs. I'm bad at English. My accent is weird. I make so many mistakes. I'm not confident when I speak. I can't even speak. Everyone speaks better than me. All of my coworkers are better in English than me. I'm gonna get fired because my English is so bad. All of my clients have some version of this. And I also, in my own way, have limiting beliefs such as this. And where do they come from? They come from school experiences. This is a big one. The moments when we aren't perfect at school, maybe the teacher calls us out or highlights a bad grade or where we failed. This can stick with us forever. Maybe it's someone constantly correcting you or a friend pointing out a mistake. Maybe it's comparing yourself to fluent speakers or your friends or your coworkers that just speak perfectly. Maybe they don't even speak perfectly, but you just think in your head, you've decided to believe that they are perfect. They could be making a mistake every sentence. You will actually overlook it so that you can prove to yourself that they're better than you. That's the length to which your mind will go to solidify this belief. It wants to keep you down so that you're not challenging it and becoming a new version of yourself. Because remember, your mind wants you to stay the same. Your mind doesn't want a challenge. It doesn't want you to become a new, better version of yourself. So it keeps you repressed. And it tries to prove these limiting beliefs to you. Something like one horribly embarrassing moment can stick with you for the rest of your life. Believe me. I know. I can replay embarrassing moments again and again and again. It's probably not even how the moment went in the past, but somehow we torture ourselves with the rumination of this, and they can really instill these limiting beliefs or thoughts about ourselves. So how can these limiting beliefs affect our behavior? Well, when it comes to English, you'll speak less. You won't trust yourself to speak up and express the opinions that you want to express that you would in your native language because you think that you can't, or you're afraid you won't be perfect. I made a video on perfectionism. You can check that out because this is a huge, huge thing that's holding us back. Limiting beliefs will cause us to overthink. You'll think every sentence is wrong, even if it's perfect. I can't tell you the amount of times I have had client calls with no grammar mistakes, and they don't believe me. I say, Jose, Katya, you just spoke perfectly. There's nothing, there are no notes. I wouldn't suggest any different phrases. I wouldn't improve your grammar in any way. Perfect. They don't believe me because I would never lie. I wouldn't. I would just not say anything. They don't believe me because they have trained themselves to believe that they are constantly making mistakes. This is why having a coach, someone to bounce off of and validate or disprove your limiting beliefs, is really important and helpful. Limiting beliefs can make you apologize constantly, always think your English is the problem, and you just don't say what you really want to say. This could be the same in your native language. You can be afraid to be yourself, afraid to be authentic because of limiting beliefs holding you back. So if you believe I'm bad at English, you start acting like someone who is hesitant, who stays quiet, who avoids taking risks and stepping out of their comfort zone. So the belief keeps reinforcing itself. You truly believe you're bad at English because you're never putting yourself in the situation to improve in English and overcoming that limiting belief. So how can we change this? How can we start to rewrite these limiting beliefs, change that programming in our mind? Well, first we have to notice the thought. We have to be aware of the voice in our head, what we're telling ourselves. And this is very uncomfortable because you realize that the narrator in your head is not nice if you're like me. Maybe you have more of a calm mind and you don't identify with this as much, and if so, good for you. That's wonderful. I can't relate. So I have to be very aware of what is going on up here. I need to notice, pay attention to what I tell myself and hear things like, you're gonna sound stupid, or that's not good enough. All of these automatic thoughts, identify it. And once we identify it, question it. Now, maybe in the moment this is hard to do. This is why reflection later on is so important. I do this in so many of my coaching calls. We reflect on negative reference points, uncomfortable situations. We identify the thought or the thing that's holding them back, and then we question it. Is that true? Or is that an old story that you're telling yourself? Where did that come from? Do you always make mistakes in English? Can you not express yourself on that topic? Let's do it now. Tell me what you would say. These are the questions that you have to ask yourself. You need to dig deep and realize this isn't true. This is just a story I've made up. You then need to separate your skill from your identity in who you are. Instead of saying, I'm bad at English, shift this thought to, sometimes I struggle to find the words. This isn't saying you are bad. It's saying, I need to get better at this skill. Because if you're already living and working in English, or you have it in your day-to-day life, you're at a high level of English. All of my clients are fluent. Communication is not the problem. It's the limiting beliefs, the confidence, the small talk, the specific skills that are the problem. But limiting beliefs are tied to identity, so that's why we have to break them apart. So shifting these to I am bad versus I need to improve this is very, very important. So think about, what specifically do you need to improve? What should you focus on in the future? Rather than, I will never improve, I'll never have perfect grammar. What specific tense is important here? And what questions are much more powerful than why questions? Why questions kind of spiral endlessly into a why? There's no answer to these questions, but what questions are very specific. What grammar tense? What vocabulary? What phrase? These are questions you can actually answer. Then you can collect small proof. We call this positive reference points with many of my clients and at Valo. So we have to notice when you have positive things happen to you, positive interactions. Notice when someone understands you, when you have a great session with your coach, when you have a good conversation, when you make a connection, when you give a great presentation, when someone compliments you. Oftentimes our brain is so good at only focusing on the negative. It's negativity bias. And this originates from when we were cavemen and we needed to be aware of all the threats to us, all of the tigers and poisonous berries, and anyways, we don't have to think about that anymore. So you don't have to just focus on the negative. Highlight the things that show you're making progress. I encourage you to write down these positive reference points and talk about them with your coach. Share them with your friends. Journal about them. It's really important to balance the positive with the negative. You already have a lot of negatives in your head. Actively search for the positive. I saw something great recently that said, if you're going to overthink how good it could go. Overthink the possibilities. Overthink the best case scenario. And I love that. I love that. These small wins and articulating these small wins, focusing on them, they slowly build belief in yourself. They slowly start to overwrite those limiting beliefs that are holding you back. And once you've started to chip away at this limiting belief, you've identified it, you've questioned it, you've replaced it, you've collected proof to show that you're overcoming it, you need to speak even when it hurts. Speak even when you're afraid. Speak even if you're outside of your comfort zone, because confidence doesn't come first. Unfortunately, I wish it did. It comes after repetition, after different experiences that challenge you. It comes after being misunderstood and overcoming that scenario. By choosing to speak anyways, you'll realize nothing bad happened. I will learn from this even negative experience. I'll talk about it with my coach. I'll figure out what to do next time, what to say next time. We only grow outside of our comfort zone, unfortunately. Most of the time, it's not your English level that's actually holding you back. It's the story that you tell yourself and the identity that you currently hold about your English level, your communication ability, who you are as a person. And that story can be rewritten. It can be rebuilt, and step by step, you can experience new things and push yourself outside of your boundaries. You can be the person that you've never thought that you could be in English. You can express yourself similarly to how you would in your native language, but not if you keep letting your limiting beliefs hold you back. So if you've ever told yourself, I'm bad in English, my accent's so strange, no one's gonna like me in English, I can't make friends in English, my boss won't take me seriously, know that you're not alone. So many people have these limiting beliefs, or limiting beliefs in general. I'm part of the club. But we need to notice when we hear it. We need to question it. Remember, this isn't fact. This is a story. We need to separate ourselves from the skill or the thing that we need to improve. We need to collect proof that we have improved and push ourselves to continue by speaking anyways, even when we're scared. And this whole video can apply to many things outside of language. So I hope it was helpful. I hope that you can start becoming a little bit more aware of the narrative in your head, the narrator that maybe is speaking negatively to you more often than he should, and start to recraft that story that you tell yourself. I know you can do it. I know I can do it. Slowly together, we will rewrite these limiting beliefs and become more confident together. I hope that you enjoyed this video. This is one thing I'm incredibly passionate about. I'd love to do different versions of this topic, dive deeper into cognitive distortions or different ways and strategies that we can rewrite our limiting beliefs or improve our self-talk. I think it's so important. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if there's any topic you'd like for me to cover in these videos. If you really identified with this video and limiting beliefs is something you would love to dive into with one-on-one coaching, please check the link in my description. I offer one-on-one coaching at valo.com, and I would love to be your communication coach. So until next time, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.